Good morning, and thanks for making ekaboom.tv part of your morning routine.
I'm Ruben, and this is Joan Romero, and today is part two of our Death of the Internet Marketing Guru series.
So let's get down to business. What are some of the fundamentals of internet marketing?
The fundamentals. I think we, those who are in a consumer in that space of buying information products from people who sell tactics in internet marketing, I think in a lot of ways we feel it because we'll buy a course. And this has been since the beginning of the industry, really. We'll buy a course, we'll go and implement it, and it either doesn't work, or we don't even get through the course because it's full of holes. It doesn't really explain everything. When you have an information industry, which this is, when you have an information industry, the fundamentals are relying on the foundation of that information. How good is it? How well is it presented? How are people able to consume it? How are they able to implement it in this case, because this isn't just an information industry, but it's also a information industry that requires people to do things and implement them.
So it's education with action.
It's education with action. Yeah, absolutely. So, unfortunately, a lot of people in the industry, they are brilliant marketers, but very bad and not very good instructors. They have little to no education in instructing others. And I don't even mean traditional education. I come from a background, I was a teacher at a college, and I learned very quickly that teaching is a whole nother skill level that isn't something that you just do off the cuff. It's something that you really have to dig into. You really have to understand. You have to understand you have to understand what you do so well that you would know what you don't know, or know.
You don't know what you know?
You have to know what you know. And that's the hardest part, knowing what you know, because sometimes you get so deep into something that you don't even know what you know. And so you skip steps. All of us have had some teacher who was a brilliant mathematician or a brilliant whatever, but they couldn't really teach. And part of usually the problem is that they make too many assumptions. They think, oh, this is easy. Everyone knows this. Because the easy and the stuff that everyone knows is easy and just comes naturally to them. So when they try to share that information, they leave out all of those things that they assume and you really don't know. So as a teacher, you have to know what you know. You have to know all those little teeny tiny detail steps. And when I started teaching, I had students who would ask me, well, how do you do this? And I say, oh, well, you do it like this and this and this. And I'd show them and they're like, yeah, but...
But how did you just do that?
How did you just do that? Yeah, right. Break everything that you did down to the smallest, tiniest little detail. And that's really what I had to start doing to really understand. I had to know what I knew.
And then be able to communicate that.
Right. And unfortunately, most internet marketing gurus they may know how to do what they're doing. They definitely know how to market, but they have not really developed the skill of being able to convey that to others so that others can take it, implement it, and use it. And
get results.
Get results, right, absolutely. And it's not even so much that someone couldn't get results out of it. They're just skipping too many steps. People aren't really understanding, and people get stuck. And then there's not the support system, or there's not any type of interaction or anything to help them get past where they're stuck, or to say, hey, I'm here and I can't get to that next step, and so people give up. And so this is really the fundamental issue and the fundamental problem with the education in online marketing that's in that industry.
And that's why it's dying.
That's why it's dying, and
giving
it's going through. And when I say dying, it's not going to go away. So don't come back and say, "Hey, I thought you said it was going to die, and the industry's still here." No, the industry will remain, but there is a shift that's going on. There was a shift previously when I was working in it and sort of moved out of it, and there is a shift coming, and there's sort of two things that could potentially happen in that shift. Either the people who are in the industry will wise up and they will either partner with people or learn how to educate better, which is probably doubtful that they will, at least on their own, they won't do it. More likely what will happen is what happened previously, which is they just shift tactics. So it's like, oh, well, I can't sell it this way. I'll just sell it, and I'll sell the same old stuff that doesn't work, that isn't well presented, that doesn't get to people. I'm going to sell that same old stuff. I'm just going to use a different tactic to do it. So I'm going to entice people with a lower end product and then move them to a mid-level. And then, so the tactics have changed, and the tactics will continue to change. But fundamentally, I think what people really want aren't their sales tactics to change, is they want the education, the foundation, the meat of that industry to really change. And I don't know how many times I have bought a course or whatever that says, hey, buy our process. Our whole process is laid out for you. Like, you can just take it, implement it step by step. Everything's there. Now, I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to defining processes. We had a whole nother series on processes. And I'm kind of strict about what I consider a process. But even if I scale back and say, okay, well, I won't be quite so strict when how I define a process, 99.9% of the time when people are touting a process, it is not a process. There's rarely a step-by-step of actions that people need to take. There are rarely any type of structure to help deliver that information in a very concise way that someone can follow easily. And, sometimes even the educational material of that process is shady. And I don't mean that in like they're ripping you off, although some people are. But I mean that it's shady in the fact that it's not complete. It's not very well done. So this shift is happening. The fundamentals are really making better products, being responsible for the stuff that you put out there, doing it in a way that actually helps and educates people to be able to follow a step by step. Maybe actually making a real process, especially if you're going to claim it to be one, actually making a real process for people to follow from beginning to end without, leaving out the all the steps, and then, having that support for someone to be able to actually, even if you think because that's one of the things I realized as a teacher is, even if you think you've covered everything, you haven't. I mean, it's the nature of teaching, is that somebody is going to get stuck somewhere that you've never anticipated. And until they get stuck there, you will never anticipate it. And you think, oh, okay, all right, I guess I can explain, whatever that is, that where you're at and how you can get past it. People will definitely surprise you on where they get stuck. And but you have to be sort of dedicated to the process and really dedicated to understanding how you educate people, and either learn it or find someone who knows how to do it. And if we don't change that foundation, the industry will change its tactics, but it'll go through another cycle. Basically, basically we've gone through a cycle where the we've changed our tactics, this tactic, and they'll overdo that tactic until everyone's like, forget it. Like, that's it. I'm not buying anymore. I don't care. This is bogus. It's useless. It's just because the tactics have changed and the actual foundation has not.
So thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below.
Have a great day.